Welcome to Lucerne. Our cinematic journey begins right here, in the heart of the communicative hustle and bustle by the main station and the adjacent pier. This is no random spot. It is here that for over a century, the paths of travelers from all over Europe have converged. Look how the emerald green Reuss River flows through its very heart, and right here, it surrenders its waters to one of Europe's most beautiful lakes, the Lake of the Four Cantons. Its German name, Bayerwaldstätter See, holds the history of the beginnings of the Swiss Confederation. And now, let's leave the clamor of the station behind and immerse ourselves in the history of Lucerne. From almost any point along the river, you can see the symbol and heart of Lucerne's Kapellbrücke, or Chapel Bridge. It is the oldest covered wooden bridge in Europe, completed in 1333. Imagine, for 7 centuries, these planks have creaked under the feet of townspeople, knights, and merchants. In the middle of the bridge rises the mighty, octagonal tower, the Wasserturm, which is even older than the bridge itself. It has been a watchtower, a prison, and a treasury today. It is the silent, stone guardian of the city's history. The true treasure of the bridge was hidden beneath its roof, a cycle of over 100 paintings from the 17th century. Tragically, on a night in August 1993, the bridge almost entirely burned down, and the fire consumed the priceless paintings. With extraordinary determination, the city rebuilt its symbol in less than a year. Today, next to faithful replicas, you can see the surviving, charred fragments of the old paintings, a painful reminder of the fragility of history and the strength of human will. Lucerne has not one, but 2 remarkable wooden bridges. The second, less crowded, is the Spreuerbrücke, or the Chaff Bridge, completed in 1408. It gets its name from the nearby mills, as this was the only place from which chaff could be thrown into the river. But its true spirit lies in its chilling cycle of paintings, the Danse Macabre, the Dance of Death. On 67 panels, death, depicted as a skeleton, pulls everyone into its dance, without exception, the Pope, the Emperor, the craftsman, and the beggar. In an age when plagues and wars decimated Europe, this bridge was a daily lesson in humility. A walk across the Spreuerbrücke is a profoundly philosophical experience. To understand Lucerne's strategic importance, we must look up. To the north of the old town stretches a line of formidable defensive walls, the Museggmauer, built around 1400. It's one of the best preserved fortification systems in Switzerland. Of the 9 surviving towers, 4 are open to the public. It's worth climbing the Männliturm, the Little Man Tower, from whose summit a figure of a standard-bearer in full armor gazes over the city. Another tower is the Zytturm, which houses the city's oldest clock from 1535. It has the privilege of striking the hour 1 minute before all other clocks in Lucerne, a symbol of the city's former power. In the shadow of more famous attractions lies an architectural gem, the Franciscan Church. Considered the most important Gothic church in Lucerne, it was built in the second half of the 13th century. Its strength is its simplicity, in contrast to the gold-laden Baroque Jesuit church on the other side of the river. Stepping inside, we find ourselves in an oasis of peace. The soaring vaults and beautiful medieval frescoes create an atmosphere of contemplation, where the city's history speaks in a whisper. And now, we enter the place where the true, historical heart of Lucerne beats. We are entering the Old Town, or Altstadt. Prepare for a journey back in time, because these streets are a living, open-air museum. What sets Lucerne's Old Town apart is the extraordinary tradition of painting the facades of its townhouses. These are not mere decorations. They are open books that tell of the history, pride, professions, and beliefs of their former inhabitants. We begin at the Weinmarkt, or wine market. Look around, each facade tells a different story. The most famous here is the Apotheke im Weinmarkt, a pharmacy whose facade is covered with a spectacular mural depicting the Battle of Sempach from 1386, a key Swiss victory over the Habsburgs. This is not just decoration, it is a manifesto of patriotism that defined Lucerne's identity. Through narrow, cobbled alleys, we reach Hirschenplatz, or Stag Square. It is smaller, more intimate, and fairy tale-like. According to legend, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe stayed here. From here, it is just a short step to the former center of civic power, the Kornmarkt, or grain market. It is dominated by the magnificent Renaissance town hall, Rathaus. Notice its distinctive, massive roof, typical of farmhouses in this region. It had a practical purpose: grain was dried under it, which gave the square its name. A walk through Lucerne's Old Town means constantly looking up. It's about admiring the intricate, wrought iron signs that still hang above shops and restaurants. It's about discovering hidden courtyards and small fountains. The Old Town is not a static museum. It is a living, breathing urban fabric, where historic houses are home to modern boutiques, art galleries, and lively bars. And so, we conclude our cinematic journey through Lucerne. A city of bridges, fortresses, and painted facades. A city that tells its story at every turn. You just have to be willing to listen. And now, I invite you to continue watching.